Peace and love. Peace and love. This is the poet B.GKL. Brother GKL that he's Gold King Life. And I want to express to you different things of not just a writer, but the human being behind the pen itself, or behind the typewriter as well. Every person in this world can write, but people also forget as an individual flesh, you have many personality traits that through your years of growing older, you have created to, I guess, to comfort yourself. It's not just the single brain and the single body that has a story and wants to tell it. It's also the personalities in different combinations inside yourself that you've created of you since you were young. You are still that young, innocent child on the inside. That's a part of your personality that comes with you. And then you have a side of you that acts as if a young adolescent teen trying to find oneself. People think just because you get older, it just all of it just stays with you in one nice painting. And what I mean by that, all your personalities of growing up or ages that you surpass does not go away. They create a new stage in your life every time you change. So put it like this. If you're still acting like an adolescent child all the way up until 30, how many personalities do you really have inside you other than that adolescent child that has a story to tell as well that needs to be written? But if you're a personality that has grown out of being childish, doing childish things, a person that has grown out of being a teen, doing teen things, the things that you do when you're trying to find yourself, that's two personalities left with inside you behind, but also relatively gone back to touch base with self of today. When you turn 21 and you graduate from partying and different things like that, going through early life situations and emergencies, jobs, stresses, depressions, and things like that, that's another personality you create inside you once you graduate from being that, if you do. That's for women and men. So when you graduate from being that, so you have surpassed a child, a teen, basically a new young adult coming into adulthood, and you surpass that on to 25. And if you're able to sustain and grow faster within those mid-20s, you graduate again. That's another personality. And what I'm getting to, and not to drag it on far, is that every personality that you create growing up through your life has a story to tell. And when I say a single brain and a single body, which the human body we walk around with every day, but we never take heed to the thought that all these different personalities meet up together to write one masterpiece or story that you're trying to develop. But sometimes you allow certain personalities in yourself to not have a voice. That's the child in you, that's the teen in you, that's the young adult in you, and that's the beginning of an adult. So when you turn 30, you have another story. That's another generation past. When you hit 30, you hit 20, you hit 10. Those are times that you surpassed. And every personality in you has a voice. So what I am trying to say is, when you write, no matter what type of writing it is, you write from where your mindset is, but don't forget you have a happiness in you, which is a child side that wants to speak, which creates the imagination. A child has always had a broad imagination of dinosaurs and butterflies and flying like a superhero, if you would say. And when you become a teen, you want to do cool things and lay back and hang out, and you experience sometimes the harsh parts of life. Sometimes a child can experience that, but those are rarities. So what I am saying to you, when you hit young adulthood, you experience so much. I think those are the best times when the pains, the struggles, the life that you have been forced to look at and deal with for what it is. Those are a combination of things that motivate your writing of today as an adult. So the imagination, I feel, comes from the child. The roughness and the beginning of a new life of how a teen orchestrates its life. It's a lot going on. It's a lot of adventure there. Imagination child, adventure as a teen, and as a young adult, I say varies between close to 20 to 21. You start experience a whole new human life. A full grown up adult human life, which some like it and some don't. And so what I'm saying is, when you dip back and you forget those personalities and you think you're just this person of today and you're only thinking with the single flesh and the single brain, which are two splits, you forget about the personalities of numerous personalities Schizophrenia. It's an emotional thing which kind of makes you all temporarily bipolar, lightly, on a light level. You know what I'm saying? Basically, you're emotional because you're flipping from different personalities trying to create a story that you're trying to write. So while you're writing, you're dipping into your past, the past experiences that you had as a child, a teen, an adult, and you're coming up with all these different emotions to put into words that makes you a poet today, a writer today, or anything. Things that have scared you, which will make sci-fi writers awesome. Things that have broken your heart would make you write about drama, suspense. You would say a little bit of dark. Things that have made you joyful, happy, means that makes you write about wonderful, adventurous, motivational type of things that you would like to read. So as writers, spoken word, and poets, you are dipping back into your personalities that you created as a child. If you were, I would say the word blessed to graduate from those type of personalities. If you're stuck as a child mentally, you have a mental illness is what they want to call it, which I don't call it that. A person stuck in a child like mine, which means they never graduated from that, so they will always have that imaginary mind of a child. So I would consider that person having a single personality, right along with the individual body that acts out what your mind thinks. So my thing is, what I'm telling you is that when you graduate from certain life experiences, you write from those, you dip back into those buckets to bring what you do today to life. Rather it's romance, hurt, pain, love, fear, or anything, and you put it into one conglomerate of a good writing. Even a person that's not trying to be a professional writer has to dip back into the memory. You got to understand the tongue is a memory. Taste. When you taste something, it brings you back to grandma's cooking. It brings you back to the time you taste the best ice cream you ever had as a child. So memory is what you go into as well as a personality. Touch. Anytime gives you a sensual touch of anything touches your body. You got to remember, those are personality traits along with what you have been through. So you use those different emotions. In my own theory, we all are low frequency schizophrenics because we deal with different personalities, but we have control. Some don't. Schizophrenia, which is a word where people have no control over the switch. The switches just go off whenever they experience certain things in life. We do the same thing every day. When we get mad, angry, we want to fight, we're desperate, we're hungry, with everything. We switch over into different personalities. So when you write, don't ever forget that you don't limit the voice of old personalities that you graduate from. They all come in one meeting room in your conscious mind to write and help you create the best thing you have. You use the young in you to create the imagination, to make you want to wonder outside of the box. You use the adventurous teen you to help you want to go out there and actually experience it physically and mentally, to be able to write about it, the just taking a risk on the edge. You get what I'm saying? So as an adult, you're able to do more things and you're not limited. You're an adult now. Somebody can tell you what you can and can't do. So you have to respect your personalities, your times, the person that's inside of self. Being a writer is not just being a good writer and going to school and be taught something that was already in you. Some people have the talent and some people don't. Anybody can write, but everybody can't be a writer. Some people need other people to help them tell their story. And they tell stories from past, present, and future. Things that they may want to do, things that they are doing, and things that they have done. So my thing is, you have to respect your personalities by any means necessary. This is the poet, B.GKL. Brother GKL, that is Gold King Lion.